Okay, everyone, very nice work on the divs lesson. Next, we are going to be working on spans. Okay, so spans are kind of like divs cousin. They're really similar, and you basically use spans to grab a portion of a tag and or group a bunch of different portions of a tag together and then style them. All right, now I know that sounds confusing, but you'll see it in a second and it'll make a lot more sense. Another distinction between span and div is that divs take up the whole width of a web page. They're considered block level elements because they take up the entire width. Well, with spans, they don't do that. Okay. Also, divs will create a space before and after, a line break, and spans don't do that. So spans are really useful because you can grab a part of a tag. Generally, we use this when we are trying to grab text, part of text, and then style that part individually. Okay, so spans can be used to give special styles to things. And in this first exercise, we are going to be working on the vocabulary exercise. There's going to be a list of vocab words to study for the SAT. Okay. This should sound familiar to you if you're in high school. All right, surround each vocabulary word and the colon following it with a span tag, and then give them the class of vocab. We're going to add a style rule for the vocab class to make them green and bolder, and we can see the docs for font weight options, so if we don't know what bolder means, okay? So let's go ahead and run this to see what we got before we do any changes. Okay, so here's all of our vocab. It is word and definition. All right, so notice that every word and definition is in a list item because all of these vocab words are in an unordered list. Okay, so we just want the words. We don't want the definitions. So what we can do to grab those words, instead of putting each single word in a div, which would basically push the definition to the next line, we can put it in a span instead. Okay, so we can keep everything in line. All right, so spans are useful for styling elements in line and not moving anything to a separate place. Okay, so class equals vocab. Let me double check and make sure that's correct. Yes, class equals vocab. Okay, and then we are then going to put the closing span tag on the other side of the word. Okay, so span looks like that. All right, so span, not to be confused with spam that you eat, is again used to pull out a specific part of a tag, and in this case, that was the li tag, and then style that separately. Okay, so don't forget those quotes. That will be an issue if you do. Okay, so next we're going to do the same thing for every single word that we have here. So vocab, and then that closing span tag again goes on the other side of the colon. All right. I'm going to stop here for now, and then I'm going to go over to the CSS and work on that. Okay, I'll let you finish up the rest of the list items. All right, now in the style CSS, we want to write the rules for our class. So dot vocab is going to be green for the color. And then for the font weight, we've been using bold, but in this case, we're being asked to use bolder. Okay, now if you're not familiar with any of the properties or values that we use, all of it is in here. So for the, in the docs tab, okay, so for the CSS, we are looking for the font. Okay, so text and font. There we go. Okay, so font weight, how thick the font is. Okay, bold or bolder. So that basically means it's going to be from a value of 100 to 900. So essentially, bolder is setting it to a higher, thicker pixel width. Okay, let's run that and take a look at what we have. All right, beautiful. Okay, so we got abhor, bigot, and enfranchise. These are green and bolder. Again, because we use the span tag to grab the word inside of the list item. All right, so this should help you understand the main difference between divs and spans. Okay, if we put each of these words in a div, it would have moved the definition down and had the word on its own line. But with spans, we can keep everything in one line. We can grab a part of a tag and then we can give it a special style. Nice work on our first span exercise. Any questions, leave it in a comment, please.